There was no time to lose. We quickly assembled and started work. Our cybersecurity expert caught a whiff of Lotus's mainframe data stream, and we dove headfirst into the abyss. The system was locked down tight, wrapped in layers of encryption like an onion with secrets at its core. It felt like chasing shadows through a maze, each corner sharper than the last. We weren't just unlocking data, we were playing cat and mouse with something that knew we were there. The first gate greeted us with an echo from literature, the Holmes Protocol. It blinked with quiet arrogance. On which London street did Sherlock Holmes famously reside? Baker Street. I knew it like I knew my own shadow. Nights spent under dim light, devouring Doyle's words, tracing the footsteps of a man who found clarity in chaos. Green light. One layer peeled. But with every layer peeled, the walls felt like they were closing in. Byzantium Barrier. They called it, a name whispered by our field tech, a relic from the past. The question surfaced. Until 1923, what was the Turkish city of Istanbul called? Constantinople. The answer wasn't just history, it was personal. My first operative work led me through Istanbul's ancient streets, where every stone murmured tales of empires, of Byzantium, of Constantinople. The system yielded with a faint flicker. There was a strange feeling in the air, like something was watching us, grinning in the dark pits of code and steel, waiting for us to slip. The river paradox. Simple question, or so it seemed. Name the longest river in the world. The Nile. But here's the thing, I don't remember learning it. It's one of those facts that just exist, like the first word you spoke, or the first step you took. Buried deep, etched into the subconscious, waiting for a moment like this. Another current pushed us deeper, and deeper meant darker, like the river had an undertow, pulling us into places we weren't meant to be. Then came the wizard's cipher. The question felt like an echo from a world far removed from ours. Name the best-selling book series of the 21st century. Harry Potter. I never cared much for spells or wands, but you'd have to live under a rock to miss the phenomenon. It wasn't about knowing, it was about exposure, osmosis from the cultural tide. Another lock undone. But with every lock undone, the system grew restless. Like we were unraveling something, it wasn't ready to let go. I could feel it, like static under my skin. We weren't alone in there. The Bristol Enigma. Not a code, more like a statement. Which famous graffiti artist comes from Bristol? Banksy. I remember seeing one of his pieces, tucked in an alley, rebellious yet haunting. Art that didn't ask for permission, only attention. The system heard our answer and opened the door. But not without a pause, as if considering us, weighing our worth. It wasn't just unlocking doors anymore. It felt like we were trespassing. The lunar lock. The question came with the weight of history. What happened on July 20th, 1969? Apollo 11 landed on the moon. My father told me stories about that day, and we watched together. Grainy footage of the landing in black and white, like watching the world through old dusty eyes that refused to embrace color. It wasn't just an event, it was a milestone, burned into humanity's collective memory. It was good to remember humanity at its best when faced with it at its lowest. The code cracked like brittle glass. But glass breaks both ways, and the cracks were starting to show on our side too. The Liverpool Loop. What city do the Beatles come from? Liverpool. My mother had their records, vinyls with scratches that couldn't mute the magic. Hey Jude was more than a song, it was a lullaby for restless nights. The answer poured out like a familiar tune. But the melody was off-key now, dissonant, like something was out of place. The totem test. The question was simple, yet surreal. In the movie Inception, what object does Dom Cobb use as his totem to determine if he's in a dream? A spinning top. But that day I needed my own totem, a tether to reality. It felt like we were trapped in a nightmare, stitched with threads too real to unravel. Sometimes life writes scripts even stranger than fiction. And yet we kept spinning, just like that top, praying gravity wouldn't betray us. But we did fall. and it wasn't soft. The Pop Shift, a name that hinted at change, evolution. Which famous American pop band was originally called Kara's Flowers? Maroon 5. I stumbled onto their early tracks once, back when everything felt raw, unpolished. Funny how names fade, but the music lingers. The system didn't stand a chance. But it wasn't about them anymore. It was about us, how much longer we could hold on. The Archipelago Vault. What country has the most islands in the world? Sweden. A fact I picked up in a forgotten documentary, a passing moment that stuck like a splinter. Over 220,000 islands, each a speck in an endless sea, just like the answers we pieced together. We thought we had it, victory close enough to taste, then it slipped through our fingers like grains of sand, indifferent to our grasp. We were ejected, unceremoniously, like intruders overstaying their welcome. The sting wasn't just in the loss, but in the echo of almost. But defeat isn't the end, it's an invitation. For the rest of the day, we rallied minds from every corner of expertise, weaving together fragments of brilliance we'd overlooked. I only wish we'd done this sooner. Bruised but unbroken, tomorrow waits. It's canvas wide open, and we get to fight another day. Do not go gentle into that good night, for even the dimmest flame can defy the dark.